going back to this. So how did the organizing committee form? So what we're representing is the Jane-Finch Community Hub and Center for the Arts Organizing Committee. And this comes right after the press conference that Butterfly told you about. So at the time, after the press conference, there was this work was housed under the Community Action Planning Group, which is a resident-led group in Jane-Finch. A lot of other organizations, there are many organized groups in Jane-Finch were supporting that work. And there was a lot of residents a part of that. I was briefly a part of that work as well. And they've done the feasibility study, as we talked about earlier, a business plan, so some work around governance structures, and they were figuring out that work. When Metrolinx said that they were reneging on their offer, we went down a path of we need to reestablish what we're doing and came collectively and make sure that we had that collective force of all the organizing that's happening in Finch. And we created a structure, this committee. And this committee's purpose is to secure the transfer of land from Metrolinx and the province to the Jane-Finch community, and establish an equitable community decision-making process for the design, function, construction, operations, and sustainability of the community hub. Our goal is to steward this process and to collectively, as a community, the larger neighborhood, to decide what entity operates this hub and, more importantly, governs this hub, how we govern ourselves moving forward. That's our goal, to be very open, very transparent, very inclusive. Anyone from the community could join and be a part of this work. And that's what we've been doing there. It's been a lot of work. We've broken ourselves up into different subcommittees. You've heard this work here is housed under the community engagement working group. We have an advocacy working group. We have a structures and terms of reference working group and a business planning working group. And each one of these do a specific thing that we could talk about. Well, I could talk about right now. So this is our structure. So our structure is the organizing committee is at the top-ish. We have these breakout working groups. Each one of these working groups explores ideas and brings options to the group. So the business planning working group will look at different fundraising strategies to support the work. Bring it to the group to make a decision. The structure working group is how do we structure ourselves? How do we vote? How do we do that type of jazz? That very, very complicated stuff there. The advocacy group is small advocacy, as in advocate with the city, the province, all the stakeholders involved to get land and to get our vision heard and execute on that. I'll talk about that a little more later. The community engagement group is to ground our work in the larger community and making sure the voices of our residents are heard, because it's extremely important that this is by residents for residents. We want this to be designed by us, and that us includes people that are not able to be at these tables and these working groups. And the way our community engagement stuff works is we go back to the community. There's a feasibility study. That stuff gets into a living document, and that living document guides the decisions by the organizing committee. And an organizing committee is obligated to constantly have these community engagement conversations to let you know what we're doing, and to get your insight on if you feel like we're doing a good job, what are your concerns, and making sure that we highlight those concerns in the future movements. Always important for your input to be here, because once again, this hub is our hub, and R is the people in our community.